still very petite to this day. I got to meet her during opening weekend. Wonderful personality. She did not act snobbish. She did not mind speaking to you. You know, she was down to earth and cool. I loved it. Now, one of the last things that they did in this room, since everybody couldn't go to Vegas when they got married, they had a reception here.
Welcome back to the second of our Editing Elvis videos. In this one, we'll start off where we left the last time. If you haven't seen the first video yet, go check it out. I'll put a link up. I think it's this corner, might be this one. I'll put a link up in the screen and down in the notes below. Go check it out, get up to speed, and let's get started. Editing Elvis Part 2. This one will be more on Graceland itself. And then in Part 3 we'll cover the museum and other aspects. Let's get started. Okay, so here we are on our way into Graceland. This is the wall at Graceland. As you can see, I'm actually sitting in a bus at this point. And also, as you can see, people leave messages. People basically graffiti the wall. Now, we've been told that this is actually perfectly acceptable. And in fact, the tour guide that I had, although he didn't have a marker that I could go and actually write on the wall, he recommended a garage just down the road that sells markers, white, black, etc., that you can actually go and write on the wall. So interesting little tidbit there. But we're not going to actually develop this photograph since this is on the way. This is part of the gate of Graceland, actually entering Graceland. Again, taken from the bus. It was a drive-by shot. I wanted to get the full guitar here in frame. Didn't make it, so I'm not going to post that. As you can see here, getting reflection off the window, but there is Graceland. Again, reflection off the window, and again, just taking a picture of the grounds of Graceland. As I said in the first video, there was a fairly major storm that hit the night prior, and there was trees and limbs, etc., down all over the place. Back at the main museum, and also, as you can see here, in Graceland itself. This was an interesting tidbit. This road takes you around the back of Graceland. Up here, where this truck is, or behind this truck, there's a side road that takes you off and around. And over here behind the trees, I think it's down this way slightly, is a chapel. Now, this is a private road that was built by Elvis because he basically couldn't leave his grounds. He would get absolutely mobbed. So he made an arrangement with the church, with the pastor or minister, whatever of the church, had this road built. He would drive down, go into the church, get changed into some old clothes, not his normal Elvis flashy self. He would drive a beat up pickup truck, and that's one of the ways, in fact that's the main way, that Elvis actually got out of Graceland. Because he was so famous, everybody wanted to see him and meet him. Elvis was kind of a prisoner within the grounds of Graceland. Oh, going back to this one, and back to the church. That church is a functioning church. It still is to this day. And there's one rule that we got told about. Nobody is allowed to get married in that church if they're wearing an Elvis costume. Another little tidbit of information for you. This is an extension that Elvis built onto the house. It wasn't originally, the house was originally 10,000 square feet. Elvis built onto it and made it 17,000 square feet. This is one of the extensions to the house. And here is Graceland itself. The main entrance, the main building. Now, as I've said prior, the museum, the curators, etc. have not touched Graceland. They've not done it up, they've not removed the original items and replaced them with replicas, whatever. This is essentially the way it was when Elvis died. So here's a nice little photograph of the front of the house. Let's start editing again. Where are we at? ISO 200 f2.8. Okay. As you can see, we're getting a bit blown out here, so we increased the shadows to try and bring up this part. Oh, come on, come back. Let's dehaze it slightly, see if we can get anything with the sky. And the answer is no, it's just a blown out cloudy sky. Which, if I click on here, I actually can't see where it lit up, so maybe we're not that bad. Just increase shadows just a little bit more. There we go, that works. Export, export. Graceland, as you can see here, is a National Historic Landmark. I'm not entirely sure why I took this picture. I think everybody actually knows that. Let's just crop it down a tad. I really don't need to do a lot to this one, since it's just a plaque. Export, export. I like this little chandelier. It was simple. It's not really a chandelier, I suppose, it's just a light fit, and it's simple, it's functional. I liked it. I'm not going to develop that one though. But there's the chandelier, there's the upper window. Not that interested in the picture. And here we are inside Graceland. Once again, if you watched the first video, you'll know that Elvis loved TVs. There's basically a TV in every single room in the house. This was the piano he built. He played, not built. It's a Story and Clark. So not a bad picture. We just need to straighten things a little tad here. Now we did get told the story of the peacocks, but you'll have to excuse me, I honestly can't remember what the story behind the peacocks was right at this moment. There's plenty of light coming in here, so really shouldn't need to do again that much with this. Let's bring back some of the, bring up some of the shadows. There we go, that works. Basically the same picture at a different f-stop. Coffee table with knickknacks on it basically, and then this is his daughter, Lisa. Lisa Marie's the daughter, Priscilla's the daughter. Anyway, that's his daughter. Decent. Do we have a wider angle of... That's a wider angle of the whole room. That's actually a better one than the first one. So let's take this one. Straighten it up a tad. You can still see the picture. The cities, yeah. Let's go with this one. There we go, that works. This is the fireplace, clock. The fireplace was actually used. This one was. There's another one in a different room that was never used. This one was actually a working fireplace. these cameras up here are actually modern cameras, as you can fairly much see. However, Elvis did have cameras fitted throughout the house. He was, I wouldn't exactly say paranoid about people getting in, but he was security conscious, security aware, I think you might want to say. And he had, we'll get down to it, down in the pool room, game room, whatever you want to call it, he could actually see the feeds from the cameras. Do you want to brighten that just a tad? Yeah, that looks okay. This isn't another room, this is actually a mirror. Picture lamp, long couch. Elvis always had people, because he basically couldn't leave his house or the grounds, he had to invite people over to see him. Lots of seats in the house. Excuse me. Now see, when we bring the highlights down, you can actually see out through the windows now. I don't know if I bring that up too much. We will bring it in the shadows though, and possibly brighten that a tad. So that when we dehaze it, it looks nice. Okay, export. This is closest, basically just a close-up of the TV set. As I said, he had one in every room. This was a close-up of the picture. Had on the 24-70 lens. This was as far as that lens zoomed in. The fireplace, as I said, this was an actual working fireplace. The knickknacks, oh, that's why I've done this one. Elvis. Self-engraved or an engraved knickknack of his. This was Elvis's parents, and then a picture of Elvis himself. And there's me. Now this picture, this is on the stairs going up, the stairs to go up, there's also stairs to go down. This is the only picture there is of Elvis in the house with Elvis's natural hair color. Right, first off we want to crop this. because all we're really interested in here is the picture. And that is very yellow. There we go. That's a lot better. That's actually a lot more, looks a lot more like what it was. It wasn't that. That yellow's caused by the overhead lights. It's just normal light bulb lights, which gives everything a yellow hue. That was fairly bad though. This, however, is good. And there's his natural hair. This one's at less of an angle. If we can straighten this up, this one might actually be the better shot. Again, not really interested in the surroundings, just in the picture. Again, the yellow lights, so bring in the blues. That looks a lot better. Not too blue though. Contrast, up the clarity. Just a smidge of colour back into it. Dehaze that, and it's still just a smidge. There we go. That's the way it should look. The staircase going upstairs. This is a two-way mirror. Up here on the sort of landing, whatever, is another two-way mirror. Or a one-way. Did you call them one-way mirrors? Two-way mirrors? One-way mirror. Where you can see through it, but you can only see through one way. The other way you just get the reflection. And look at this gorgeous chandelier. Did I get one of just the chandelier? Yes, I did. Down here. So there's the chandelier. But this was just an interesting... That in itself is not so much an interesting picture, except for the reflection of the chandelier, but the fact that it had a one-way mirror, or two one-way mirrors, one you can't actually see. That was interesting. This is what's causing all this yellow light. This is more the actual natural colour of it. There we go, decent picture. Same thing, different f-stop. I was actually zooming in to see what was further down the hall. Once you go up the stairs and turn right, because this is a mirror, you can kind of see, except that you're hitting another mirror. There is the chandelier, and there's a better picture of the chandelier. Again, very yellow, so we want to tone down the yellows, tone down the temperature. There we go, that works. Okay, now this was a guest bedroom. The fireplace, this is directly behind the main living area. The stairs are opposite this. We got told something, I can't remember exactly what, but something interesting about this lamp and the pattern on the lamp. Oops, wrong click. I wanted to put it all back in again. Again, this is exactly left as when Elvis basically kicked the bucket. Bring up the shadows to get some detail, bring down the highlights a tad, smidge of colour, very slightly on the yellow side. There we go, again because of just these lights. And that was, yeah, that was the close-up of this lamp. I honestly can't remember what the tour guide said about this lamp, but this lamp had some significance to it, the pattern on it. Wider angle of the whole room. I've already got one picture of it. This was Elvis as a child. Didn't quite come out well. It's grainy. But as you can see, these magazines, they have been read, they have been used. You can see by here. But you can also see that these are, there's something about Nixon. I can't actually read that. But these are the original magazines that are still left there. Let's do a quick spot of editing on this. Lights a tad. No, we don't need vibrance. There we go. Oh, this was his... No, these are more pictures of Elvis as a younger child. Yep. Mirror something mirror. I think that's actually, isn't that Elvis himself? It's an article about Elvis. But these are the original magazines. Again, lovely chandeliers. Love the chandeliers in this place. Edit this a smidge. We've got the yellow coming up. Again, cool it a bit. Yeah, that looks fine. These smoke detectors, again, not from Elvis's era. This is something I assume for insurance purposes or whatever, but this is something the museum added, was the smoke detectors. And once again, a TV set. TV set in every single room. Elvis had a penchant for his RCA televisions. He had RCA televisions in his plane, RCA televisions throughout his house. I think back in the, when was Elvis? 60s, 70s? RCA was actually the predominant maker of television sets. Kind of like, I suppose, Samsung is today. They were on the sort of cutting edge. And as you can also see from the tuning knobs, there was, back then they had 4 channels. Nowadays you give a kid, you even give an adult, 4 channels of TV and they will probably go nuts. The formal dining area. Everything's in silver, all the cutlery, all the butter dish, everything is in sterling silver. Over here, I don't know if you can see this, various other glasses and knickknacks and whatever for the table in the dining area. Again, all silver. The glasses were not just glass, they were actual crystal. Marble floors with carpet going around it. That's not the one I want. That's the one I want. Bring down the highlights. You can see through the window again. Once again, we've got the yellow of the lights. That's a bit better. You need to bring up the shadows. There we go, that works. Before we do that, cancel. Still just a smidge on the yellow side. That's a touch better. Portrait landscape, basically the same thing. As you can closer up of all the silverware that you had. These didn't just sit in the cabinet. These were actually used, apparently. Depending on who the guest was and whether they needed, you know, extras. Soup dishes. This is a cocktail shaker by the looks of it. Teapot. Some serving dish, a milk jug. But these were actually used. They didn't just sit in the cabinet. Excuse me. Get rid of the yellow, bring up the shadows, bring in the clarity, and we're going to need to actually bring the yellows just a tad back up. Try and dehaze this and see if we can get a better shot inside here. As you know, Elvis was a avid martial artist, so he also had a penchant for Oriental things. Yellow's coming in. There we go. Don't know why I took a picture of this chair. This is just the opposite one. It's kind of the same. It's Oriental style knickknacks. Another wide angle, yeah, 24mm of the dining area, and another landscape portrait. Now, this was a normal house. Everybody, or so the guide was saying, everybody expected a big industrial style kitchen, but there isn't one. It's a normal working everyday house. So the kitchen was a normal kitchen. This is one of the very first microwaves ever made. brighten, take down the highlights, take down the whites. Maybe a little too bright. We've got the yellows. There we go, a lot better. Maybe bring them up just a tad. Basically just closer in on the microwave, a juice maker, I can't remember what you actually call these things, the electric juice maker type things, standard toaster, a 4-slot toaster. It's just a standard thing. There's just a standard kitchen, which apparently surprises everyone. Not entirely sure why. Here, this is not the museum that's put these in. These are actually original. These are some of the security cameras that Elvis has dotted around the place. This one obviously going to the front door, where there's currently a bath. This is split into 4, so this is 4 different ones. I can't exactly make out. These are inside the house, but I can't exactly make out where inside the house they are. But this was Elvis's. This was original to Elvis. This wasn't added later. It's just standard glassware, plates, just standard dining. It was just a normal kitchen. An iron skillet. A standard stove top. Although I bet back then this wasn't standard. And of course a TV set. As I said, TV set in every room. Before I start editing this one, do I have a slightly better? That's a bit straighter. Yeah, it's a slightly better picture. So let's edit this one. Bring up the highlight, add the shadows. There we go, that's more like the original colour, not all the yellow from these lights. It's funny how your eyes, perhaps we're used to it, but our eyes sort of filter out all the yellows when you've got standard lights. Cameras pick them up. Luckily with programs like this, you can actually tone it back out and get back to the original colours. This is opposite the security monitors, this is on the other side, and as you can see, nice oriental vase of, I don't know, I think it's just decoration, and more plates, cups, just the standard everyday household really. Close in on the oriental vase, closer in on the it wasn't even chinaware, it was just plates and cups and stuff. this was another formal living room. Kind of split into two sort of halves, separated by this chair. All the stuff in this room was imported from Hawaii. Elvis had a big love affair with Hawaii, as I'm sure you'll know. This chair here was one of Lisa Marie's, the daughter's, favourite chairs. But because, I think I get a close-up of this later on, because this chair is so large it wouldn't fit through the door, they actually had to take out this window to get the chair in and then replace the window. I wonder if I can crop this a bit to get these people out. As you can see, these people are actually coming up from downstairs, down the basement. Let's see if we crop it to about there. Going to be a slightly weird aspect ratio, but it works. So we take down the highlights so that we can actually see something through the windows. Bring in the shadows to bring up some detail in the picture. Now yes, the roof is actually green and the carpet is actually green. It's the old style, not quite shag carpet, but the reason that the roof, there's a wall over here that's covered in carpet. All this was this style carpet was Elvis actually recorded in this room, and these helped dampen the noise. RCA, Sun Studios, probably Sun Studios, would actually bring mobile recording equipment and he would sit in here and actually record songs. That works. This is sort of the other half to that room, and as you can see, it is very dark. Overly dark, yeah. I can't really rescue that one. And the stairs going upstairs. A bar with decanters and crystal glasses, but yet, as I said in, I think it was the previous video, apparently he did not drink. Whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. I'm just relaying what I got told. Stairs upstairs. This is a modern camera. This is not a 1960s camera. Although that looks like 1960s. No, that's not that interesting. There's a better one. Highlights are killing it though, that window. And of course this lovely wood paneling. My parents had wood paneling similar to this in their house at one point. It got removed. I think that was back in the 70s, 80s. Try and kill some of the yellow a little touch. There we go. Can't do much about this. That's just, that is going to be overblown. I'm not sure what this is. Sinking knickknacks. Some piece of artwork. Not sure what it's meant to be, but there you go. Now this is down in the basement. A relaxation room, whatever you want to call it. Elvis was down here quite a lot. Record player, radio, the 3 TVs. Over here was a 100-disc record player, like automatic. You didn't need to, you just slotted them in, and it kind of like the old style jukeboxes. It's a 100-disc changer, or if you've got I suppose CDs are old now. We used to get CD changers for your cars, etc. Well, this held 100 records. Elvis actually owned a monkey, and this is a statue of his monkey. For the life of me, I can't remember what the monkey's name was, though. His signature lightning bolt, TCB, TCB. Taking care of business, that's what it is. TCB, taking care of business. Now these are actually playing Elvis's 3 shows that he actually loved. Johnny Carson, for the life of me I can't remember what the other 2 shows were. Maybe I'll get another picture and that will become clear. But he got this idea from President, I think it was President Nixon, who had multiple TVs and he had them tuned to news. He wanted to see what was happening, politics and blah blah blah. Elvis got that idea from him, and one of these TVs generally had like sports on it, football game or hockey or something, some sort of sports on it, Johnny Carson, and the other TV was something else. But he loved the idea of having 3 TVs. If Nixon can watch 3 TVs at the same time and get all his information, so can I. So he did. And this was a projector screen, a Knox 500 series, that came down so that he could actually watch movies, projected movies. I think I got a shot of the projector as well, which is sitting way off to the right back here, basically behind us at this point. But yeah, this was one of Elvis's main places that he liked to come and relax. There's the oh, that's right, it was a war film. Oh, it's the one where the guy rides the nuclear bomb. Dr. Strangelove. That was one of his favourite movies, Dr. Strangelove. And again, RCA televisions. So Dr. Strangelove, Carson, and sports usually, but I can't remember what they actually had playing here. It was another one of his favourite movies. Don't really need that shot since we got the wide angle. There's the 100 disc record player. That's a shot of the back wall, mainly for the TCB logo. You had this decorated. Record player with the records. Mario Lanza. These are all, again, his original records, never been touched. Can't remember why I took the lamp. Oh, there's that art again. Oh, this is what they call the juice bar. That's right. Because Elvis didn't drink, this wasn't a bar, this was an actual juice bar, which had its own refrigerator and other knickknacks. I can't remember exactly what off the top of my head. A sink. And stuff. Again, yellow. Yes, blue. It's too much blue. And it is meant to be yellowish. That's probably about right. I can probably increase. There we go. Export, export, export. This is the pool room. That's right. Should have realised that by the pool sticks. Now he got a friend, a special decorator, to come in and decorate this room with this texture. This it's not wallpaper, it's actually fabric. And as you'll see, if once we get to a wide angle shot, they kind of went a little bit overboard on it, and basically everything, the whole room, looks like this. the shadows of this box. Elvis was also an avid reader. He apparently read a lot. So something else that you'll see dotted all around the house apparently are books. Did we save that one? I can't remember. Export. Yes, we did. Okay. And here's the pool table and a slightly wider shot. And as you can see, apart from the fireplace, this whole room, roof included, was all decorated in this fabric. This was a fireplace that never got touched, never got used, mainly because he was too scared that with all this fabric the whole house would go up on fire. That's alright, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, let's take this one. Probably needs straightening just a smidge. Bring up the shadows. Can actually increase exposure a tad. This one's showing. No, we don't want to adjust the reds. Get back up there. That's the one. This is a lot closer to. This is more like the actual colours in the room. f2.8, so shallow. That's why this is slightly out of focus. I'm actually focused back here, probably on the. Yeah, focused on the back wall. Bring that down a tad. Get the colours popping just a little, just a smidge. There we go. Now can we increase? There you go. That looks good. Now, one night. Is this the roof? Yeah, this is the roof. As you can see, the whole roof is covered in this material. They just went completely nuts overboard on this. This was a friend of Elvis's who done this, who was a interior decorator. And I think Elvis let her essentially have free reign and do what she wanted. And this is how it turned out. There we go. That's still a smidge on the yellow side. Yeah, that's more natural, less yellow. This picture had some significance. I think it was who the artist was rather than the actual picture. 1942. Can't remember. We got told about it. I honestly, there's too much information to really take in one sort of tour. This is why I took this one. Ripping the cloth, and they've never went in, the museum hasn't went in and fixed this. They've left it exactly as is. The story was Elvis had a couple of his friends around, and they were playing pool, mucking around, having fun, and somebody ripped the cloth on. It wasn't Elvis, so we're told anyway. It was one of his friends that he had round entertaining. Ripped the cloth on the pool table. This happened not too long before Elvis actually died, which is why the rip in the cloth is still there and it's never been refelted. Elvis never got round to it. He died fairly soon afterwards. So the museum left it in place. It's still a smidge on the yellow side. That's way too blue though. There we go, that looks a lot better. Export, export. The fireplace that never gets used. A stand with knickknacks and stuff. This, apparently Elvis didn't pick these. This was the interior decorator that picked these things. Is that worth? Yeah, we'll quickly edit this one as well. Smidge dark. Contrast, bring up the shadows so we can actually see it. Bring down the highlights. So, yep. Of course, the yellow needs to come out. There we go. There's that. Export, export. Come on, file, export. Let's move on to the next one. I took this because of that camera. This is actually not the museum's. This is one of Elvis's original security cameras. That's why I took that. But not that interesting. Art on the walls. Couple of plates. Vogue. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Somebody doing the can over here, something from France-ish. Got a wide angle of the right hand side of the room. Now this one is because of this. There's a broken piece of the awning here. And this was his daughter, Lisa Marie, who one night had a tantrum, got mad about something, and threw a pool ball. Get rid of the yellow. See, it shows up better when it's not all yellow. That's the way it should be. I threw a pool ball, hit this and broke it. Again, this is something that the museum have left in place for to be historically accurate, I suppose. But that's what we're looking at here, is just this broken piece of the awning. Do you call that an awning? Not entirely sure. That's the story behind this shot. Piece of artwork. I don't think we actually got told anything about that. And since we're already around about the hour mark, I'm going to call it quits here for this editing session. We're about to head back upstairs, see more of the upstairs of Graceland, and then head out into the grounds, see Vernon's office, his private shooting range, etc., trophy room and other things, the last piano he ever played, all that's still to come. So we'll split Graceland itself into 2 videos. Stay tuned for the next part of the tour of Graceland in Editing Elvis.